The Power Paradox: How Black Women Are Reshaping Leadership in America. Have you ever noticed how the most powerful forces in nature are often invisible? Gravity shapes our entire universe, yet we can't see it. Wind can topple buildings, but we only witness its effects. And then there's this other invisible force, one that's reshaping American business, politics, and culture right before our eyes, even while being systematically overlooked. I'm talking about the leadership of Black women. I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Alexis Redwine, whose groundbreaking research has illuminated what many of us have sensed but couldn't quite articulate, that we're witnessing a quiet revolution in how power operates in America, led by those who have historically had the least access to it. Alexis is more than a researcher. She's a visionary who has dedicated her life to documenting and amplifying the transformative leadership styles that have been hiding in plain sight. Her work doesn't just analyze patterns, it creates new possibilities for how we understand power itself. The numbers tell a story that's both inspiring and troubling. Black women are currently the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in America, owning an astonishing 2.4 million businesses, more than any other minority group. Yet simultaneously, they hold just 1% of C suite positions in Fortune 500 companies. Now, let that sink in for a moment. 1%. This isn't just a statistic. It's a paradox that reveals something profound about power in America and about the extraordinary resilience of those navigating this contradiction every day. As Alexis explained during our conversation, this gap isn't about talent or ambition. It's about systems designed to maintain certain power structures while creating the illusion of progress. The question becomes, how do you change a game when you didn't write the rules? And perhaps more importantly, should you even try to play by those rules at all? Consider the story of Ursula Burns. In 2009, she became the first Black woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company when she took the helm at Xerox. But her journey wasn't simply about climbing a corporate ladder, it was about reimagining what that ladder could look like. Burns started as an intern at Xerox. At every step of her ascent, she faced skepticism about whether she fit conventional expectations for executives. The unspoken question always lingered. Can a Black woman really lead a legacy tech company through turbulent economic times? Her response wasn't to contort herself into someone else's idea of leadership. Instead, she leaned into her authentic style, direct communication, strategic risk taking, while building strong mentorship networks within the company. She prioritized cultivating diverse teams to drive innovation. The results? Under her leadership, Xerox transformed from a copier company into an IT services powerhouse through bold acquisitions and cultural change initiatives. Burns didn't just break through a ceiling, she redesigned the entire building. But here's what's truly revolutionary about Burns' approach, as Alexis Redwine pointed out in our interview. Her success wasn't just about individual achievement, it was about creating pathways for collective empowerment. This brings me to the second insight from my conversation with Alexis. Authentic leadership isn't just about being true to yourself, it's about creating spaces where others can do the same. The journey for Black women leaders involves navigating what researchers call the double bind, facing both racial and gender bias simultaneously. It's like running a race where the hurdles are twice as high and placed twice as close together. Yet, this very challenge has forged leadership approaches that are transforming organizations from the inside out. Success comes when organizations recognize and value authentic leadership styles rather than expecting conformity to traditional models that often exclude or marginalize diverse voices. But here's the thing, This isn't just about fairness, it's about effectiveness. Companies with diverse leadership consistently outperform their competitors. They're more innovative, more adaptive, and better at understanding diverse markets. The data is clear. Diversity isn't just a moral imperative, it's a business advantage. But perhaps the most powerful insight from my conversation with Alexis Redwine was this: empowering women into their power requires more than individual achievement. It means fostering environments where bold solutions are implemented with input from those most affected by current systems. We're seeing this play out dramatically in the explosion of Black women owned businesses since 2020, between 2019 and 2024. These enterprises have become crucial job creators within their communities while driving innovation across sectors like beauty tech and professional services, despite receiving less than 2.3% of venture funding. Think about that. With just 2.3% of the capital, they've created millions of businesses that are transforming local economies nationwide. How? Many leveraged digital platforms during COVID-19 shutdowns to pivot business models quickly, formed peer support networks online, and sought out female investors who understood their lived experience. This surge followed decades where less than 5% of US businesses were owned by any woman. Today's landscape reflects generational persistence against odds stacked high since before civil rights reforms took hold. The accomplishments are staggering. A record breaking increase exceeding 3,400% growth since the early 70s, creation of new market categories led by culturally attuned founders, and higher than average survival rates among micro businesses run by these entrepreneurs, even through recession years. These achievements demonstrate how collective empowerment, not just individual grit, transforms economies and communities. We see this same dynamic in political organizing. Polling data from spring 2025 showed that nearly 9 out of 10 Black women voters were dissatisfied with America's direction, but remained committed architects for collective progress, even amid setbacks on rights and economic security. Facing rollbacks on reproductive rights and economic instability post pandemic, with wages lagging behind costs, a majority felt unheard in political decision making processes affecting them directly. The response? Women led grassroots organizations mobilized voter turnout campaigns focused on policy issues central to community well being, including healthcare access, education investment, and labor protections, with messaging crafted by those most impacted. The results were record breaking participation rates among younger voters and newly registered citizens that led states like Georgia, Michigan, and Pennsylvania toward more inclusive agendas after years where policies had been made about rather than with them involved. This movement builds upon a generations long tradition where empowered individuals organize collectively, not waiting for permission to reshape what's possible politically, socially, and economically despite ongoing adversity. As Alexis Redwine so eloquently put it during our interview, when Black women lead, they create futures rooted in care, fairness, progress, and dignity for entire communities. This isn't just leadership, it's transformation. So, what does this mean for you, regardless of your gender or racial identity? First, it means recognizing that power doesn't always look the way we've been taught it should. Sometimes the most powerful leadership isn't about dominating rooms, but about transforming them, creating spaces where everyone can contribute their unique gifts. Second, it means understanding that authentic leadership isn't about fitting yourself into someone else's template. It's about bringing your full self to whatever table you sit at, and sometimes building entirely new tables when the existing ones don't serve. And finally, it means acknowledging that true empowerment isn't just about individual success. It's about creating conditions where everyone can thrive. I want to leave you with three challenges that emerge from my conversation with Alexis Redwine. First, identify one area where you've been playing small or waiting for external validation, and take one bold step this week toward owning your voice or vision unapologetically. Second, reach out intentionally, either as mentor or mentee within your circle, to build bridges so no one climbs alone. And third, advocate loudly, not just for yourself, but alongside others whose power deserves recognition too, in your workplace, community, and political spaces. Because here's what I've learned from Alexis Redwine and from studying the leadership of Black women across America. True power isn't about having authority over others. It's about creating conditions where everyone can access their own power. The poet June Jordan once wrote, "We are the ones we have been waiting for." This isn't just beautiful language, it's a profound truth about how change happens. No one is coming to save us. No perfect leader will emerge to solve all our problems. Instead, leadership emerges from those willing to step into their power, even when, especially when the world tells them they shouldn't. Black women have been showing us this truth for generations. They've been leading families, communities, movements, and increasingly businesses and institutions, often without recognition or reward, frequently against active resistance. And in doing so, they haven't just been changing their own circumstances, they've been reimagining what leadership itself can look like: more collaborative, more authentic, more focused on lifting as they climb. This isn't just their story. It's a blueprint for how all of us might lead more effectively in a complex, interconnected world that desperately needs new models of power. The revolution in leadership that Black women are spearheading isn't waiting for permission or recognition. It's happening right now in boardrooms and community centers, in startups and established institutions. The question isn't whether this transformation will continue, it's whether the rest of us will have the wisdom to learn from it, to support it, and to be transformed by it. I challenge each of you today, don't just witness this revolution, join it. Become an active participant in reimagining what power can look like in your own sphere of influence. Because the future of leadership isn't about maintaining hierarchies, it's about creating networks of mutual empowerment where everyone can access their full potential. The power paradox teaches us that sometimes those who have been most systematically denied power are precisely the ones who can show us how to use it most wisely. In a world facing unprecedented challenges, this wisdom isn't just valuable, it's essential for our collective survival and flourishing. Thank you.